Welcome back, everybody, to Director's Dive number 3 on PTA. We're talking 1999's epic Magnolia.
Oh, yeah.
Big old cast in this one. Probably like 10, 15 plus big names in this. And very epic weaving of the stories. Yeah, I don't know. I'll toss it around as like first tastes. Alex obviously has already seen this one. Noah, have you seen this one yet, or is this
No, this was new.
first
This
watch?
was fresh for me.
Okay, so this will be fun. Alex, what's your opinion on this movie?
Well, today's topic on the Stay Gold channel is if you refuse to let them go, I will send a plague of frogs across the entire land. Exodus 8:2. Let's dive into that. I love this movie. I think it's great. I think that obviously, it's got all those college film studies, guys, dreams all throughout sprinkled in there, the technical aspect. But I think just the characters and their stories and, the sins of our fathers and letting those go or else, But I love this movie. I think it's great. The second rewatch just kind of really enhanced it, especially, and I know I'm a Tom Cruise fanboy, but like his story specifically, I mean, clearly he's a standout like performance in this. Like he is top of his game. I think best performance he's ever done, acting wise. I mean, the Mission Impossibles are just their own thing. He's not really acting in those. He's just being himself.
Yeah.
But this one, he's actually like putting his chops out there and like, I'm doing this. And he sells it. And it's just like, that one hits home for me, his whole like arc. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why, I don't know. But I really enjoyed, like everybody's obviously, it's clearly about like our fathers and how they have impacted our lives and stuff like that. So I just found that super compelling, interesting. It's right up my alley. So
sweet.
Yeah, there's some really cool like story arcs and characterization throughout this movie, all around.
Yeah,
I feel like it was weird when I was I got like maybe an hour in, and I realized like I was getting like Babel vibes, but like just 100% elevated. Very well executed in terms of like the characters and like fleshing these characters out and like immediately kind of like letting us sit and learn who these people are.
Yeah.
And then like slowly like revealing that they're influencing each other's lives, and like they're interconnected in these sort of weird ways. It was like just so much more satisfying in this one. Yeah. And I went into this movie like prepared to not like it. I'll be straight up honest. I was like, all right, Pete, like Hard 8, like didn't wow me. But Boogie Nights was like good. I thought it was like funny and solid. But I was like, all right, like next one's gonna be a dud. Like no way. Like, there's got to be one. And but no. Happy to say, I had a great time with this one. And like for as long as it is, can still see myself going back and watching it again. Like, I think it's worth that. Yeah.
It's pretty well paced. I mean, they he puts things into it to where like it picks up speed cutting from person to person to like kind of give you that ball rolling. And when even then it comes to like, lulls when it really wants to dig into the characters. Mm-hmm. But when it wants to give you more information, I think he knows how to just sprinkle it in there when it's time. So
yeah, totally.
But like, the question
has like the accelerate and like the brake and like the like it's nice.
Yeah. The question is though, Matt, I'm afraid you didn't like this.
Yeah, I've been pretty quiet over here. Just because I love these kinds of movies, just like these like matter of chance, leading to like cosmic like coincidence, and like how it equals fate. Those kind of, I love that kind of like Mr. Nobody type of movie. And that movie was like very impactful to me, strangely. So I was like opposite of Noah. I was ready to come in and like I thought this would be my favorite PTA movie. Honestly, before starting this, I was like Magnolia is the one I kind of really want to get to because that's the wide scale story I want to see. And unfortunately, I think this is going to be on the lower end of my PTA movies. It just did not really land for me, man. I'm a little bit more negative on it right now than I think my overall experience was with the movie because it's still a great movie. I won't say great. It's still a good movie, but man, I don't know. I'm getting worried now that I'm like PTA hating, but I didn't really find a lot of. There's substance in this movie, but god damn, dude, why is this movie 3 hours long? An hour in, I was ready for it to like wrap it up. No joke. I was
Really?
like, where and why? That was like, I'm getting like frustrated at this one.
This is kind of amazing
Yeah.
because this was my experience with 2001.
Right.
So
yeah.
like, I'm in your chair now.
It's
when
like,
I came in,
and that's what
dunking on that movie.
It's super fun to see like tastes of like filmmaking and art and how subjective it actually can be, because you're on a spectrum with people, and I'm clearly at one end and you're at the other end. We overlap some places, but it's just taste at a certain point. And this one, I don't think like I didn't really want to stay with the filmmaker behind the camera on this the whole movie. I was like wanting to feel more with it and wanting to go different places with it. Maybe that's the issue, is I wanted more interconnectedness in this movie. I felt like the premise he set up was like so fruitful and rich, with like the intro that he gave with the man falling off the building getting shot. I was like, hey, this is going to be a great movie. I'm like, I'm in. And then the character stories that you follow for the next 3 hours are like very vaguely interconnected. And I'm like, dude, you set up like two separate families basically and have like offshoots of those two families. But I was like not feeling any like reason for interconnectedness or like purpose. I was only feeling I want 15 characters in California, you know, like, I really struggled with like wanting to enjoy this one more, but it just didn't really get me.
I think that's what I enjoyed about this one. Like Babel, you know, they're clearly connected. That's a the good example there. But what I enjoyed about this one is that they weren't completely connected. I mean, their situations were connected in a way of like, you know, how they were affected by their upbringings and things like that. And they all lived on Magnolia Street or whatever. And
or
is it Magnolia Street
to like the network and stuff, you know, like
and like that was how they were connected, and it wasn't like a slap you in the face like aha we did it type of moment. And that's what I enjoyed about it, because it was more of like
I think
similar people having similar
Hoffman's character. I mean, I agree with that was part of what I sort of like gravitated towards in this one and to liking because it was like this idea that like, and I'm like jumping places, but like it was like the idea that these people are kind of like occupying the same space, but like not fully aware of like that that they're influencing each other, like that these things around them are influencing them in similar ways. And I think Philip Seymour Hoffman's character like really helps do that, because he's like just kind of like this outlier guy trying to like find these people and like and in ways like stitch the story together, you know, like and he's just like a very grounded character, you know. He's like this nurse, this hospice nurse, like taking care of this dude. And I found his performance, like other than Tom Cruise, I thought his was like subtle, like fucking very like top notch. And I think he just like sold this idea that like these are real people, and like he's like because Tom character is like out there, man. Like he's a weirdo. Like
respect the cock.
Yeah, man.
I will not apologize for who I am. I will not apologize for what I need. I will not apologize for what I want. Okay. Now go to your blue booklets right now. I want you to turn to page 18 in your blue booklets. God, this is fucking bullshit. I want you to go to your white books. That's what I want you to go to. Go to 23 in your white books. How to fake like you are a nice and caring person.
What are you doing? What am I doing? I'm silently judging you.
Yeah. Just fucking waiting out the interview. Yeah.
I mean,
his whole arc with like I can't look back at the past, like you know, there's nothing for me there, but like literally having to reconcile with it by the end of the movie. Just cool.
His
Cool to see
his
that.
his role was the best role for me throughout the movie too. One, just
Yeah.
Cruz, like you said. I think you were right. I think it is his best role. Honestly, it's the most transformative I've seen Cruz, like
Mhm.
outside of what I've like, what his like persona kind of is, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that like the journey of like dissecting that man's ego was that was a good journey through the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
does lead into the deathbed character, which is a very big linking character for a lot of the characters.
The
Yeah.
rosebud, if you will. No.
um, I guess another gripe I had overall with the feel of the movie was that it was just so like ultra sad, like all the time. That I love the heart, the vulnerability, like all like the unabashedness that this movie has is something special. I'd say like how genuine it truly is. So I don't want to like bash on
Yeah.
it that hard
Yeah.
for it, but I think with Cruz's breakdown scene at the bed, I'm just like, man, it's like we're trying to squeeze out performance here. You know, that's what I saw at least. And then like the scene where they're all singing the same song, you know, I was like, I get the idea, man, but like that's just a little far for me in filmmaking language to be like, this is. It felt like weirdly like a music video that didn't belong in this tale. It was just there were some weird choices for me that didn't land, and it was all very like it was like dripping in people like being sad. Julianne Moore is doing some out fucking rageous shit this whole movie, and she's like destroying like her personality through the whole movie. And it's like I get the hook of it, I get the meat, I get the isn't it so raw? All these characters are so raw and they're feeling so much with each other, and but it's just so much that I'm like, dude, just fucking chill and tell me the story. Don't fucking just like force like a heart out of me or just the whole time. And maybe that's just like me being a dick, be like, well, just fucking give the movie your heart. Like, but it just, I don't know, man. It was like a lot of the time I was like kind of rolling my eyes at some of these moments. So like, it didn't feel good. I didn't feel like I was like, I don't know. I'm as you can see, I'm struggling with my interpretation of PTA's films on why they're such a prestige level. I see the value. I see the skill. I don't see top tier filmmaker. That's just me. And I'll eat those words for the rest of my life, I'm sure. But
You're killing me.
yeah, no, I think that's fair.
I would say my only complaint, and through the rewatch, was Julianne Moore's character could just be taken out. I think, not like
I was
killed,
thinking,
but
yeah.
maybe, I don't know.
I was thinking that, or like they should have rewritten her character, her and Tom's characters to like do a little more, like, because I feel like they could have rewritten her character to easily be like, you know, fighting for the will or whatever, you know, like maybe instead it's like will to Tom Cruise's character in the beginning, and the whole thing is like, oh, she's like going crazy and like should she kill him, like change the will and then kill this dude and like try and screw Tom's character over, and should that be like, does Tom even want this inheritance from this guy? That kind of, you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because other than that, I thought, yeah, she's just like neurotic, man, and like doing some.
Her
some
acting
weird
was
shit.
so horrible too. Like,
I was like with her until that pharmacy scene, and I was like, that.
I give you
I'm sorry.
things.
Like, I can't believe you. Like, I don't believe you. Like,
Yeah,
so that
for sure.
I was with her until then, but yeah, not the best.
Strong stuff here, boy. Wow. What exactly you have wrong? You need all this stuff.
Motherfucker.
What?
Motherfucker. You
What are you talking
fucking asshole. Who the fuck are you? Who the
Oh, look,
fuck
lady, I'm
do
just
you
trying-
think
I'm
you
just
are?
trying to
I
make
come in
conversation.
here. You don't know me. You don't know who
Look,
I am, what my
you don't
life
have
is,
to-
and you have the balls,
You don't
the
have-
indecency to ask me a question about my life?
Please, lady, what-
Fuck you too! Don't you call me lady! I come in here, I give these things to you. You check, you make your phone calls, look suspicious, ask questions. I'm sick! I have sickness all around me, and you fucking ask me my life? What's wrong? I'm using death in your bed, in your house. Where's your fucking decency? And then I'm asked fucking questions. What's wrong? Suck my dick. That's what's wrong. And you fucking call me lady? Shame on you!
I also think like you should have maybe taken out some of those fucking frames in that scene. You know, like as the editor of that film, this 3 hour and 10-minute film, you could have lost some of those like hammy shit. To me, you sat in the hamminess for too long, and I don't really know why, because it didn't add anything. It took away from the feel for me, but it's just me.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
There's definitely some moments, but yeah, I mean, and the same. The music at the end kind of caught me off guard, but end of the day, I mean, I don't know. I still like. I really enjoyed the inner like. I feel like this is like PTA has found like solid ground for me.
It's just
I don't know.
I just really enjoy, I don't know, theme, I would say, of the whole thing. For me, maybe it's just because it hits a sweet spot for me personally as a sad boy, daddy problems type guy. Maybe, you know, maybe that's why I love it. But
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
I
just
think I need to rewatch it too, because like if I'm in a different mood, it's gonna just like unlock something and I'm more invested. You know, it's one of those movies that it could go completely two different directions, I feel like, for a lot of viewers. Because me, all right, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I was 30 minutes in, I was ready to like say no to this movie too. I was like, I just wasn't hooked for like super long.
that intro is so fucking banging though.
The intro was good.
That's what gets me, man.
But then after that, I got like lulled, so I was like, like, am I gonna be interested in like these people in this story? And then it started to get more interesting, I think, like after the scene with Philip Seymour Hoffman, like kind of like the first scene with Philip Seymour Hoffman and the dude. I was like, okay, like I care about this guy and like this guy's lineage, like what they're setting up with here, like him here. So
yeah,
and that got enough to invest me in other stuff. But yeah.
It's funny because like the intro won me over. Like I was like in, and then it's like very eclectic when it's introducing all the characters, and that was done very well at the beginning of the film because it's done so haphazardly and whiplashy, but it doesn't feel wrong. It feels correct in that moment. But then like once it gets to the partly cloudy 82 degrees title, I was like instantly having a thought of like, oh no, I was like, this could be really cool, or this could be like fucking goofy. And maybe I just took it the wrong way. But after that moment, that's when the movie started to like dip into its own formula. And I was like, this isn't what you just promised me. Like, I don't know. But that was just me. I also just wanted to talk about like what you guys think. I mean, you brought up the Bible verse at the beginning. I'm sure that means something. Like I said, this movie you could go two different directions with it. So like the raining frogs at the end, that's either going to be like catharsis, or are they going to be like, what the fuck does this mean? You know, and
is it coincidence?
I mean, I get it. Why are the frogs raining from the sky? Like, what does that mean? It's random to all the characters. It's connecting all the characters, sure, but like the randomness wasn't meaningful. It just felt random. Like nothing. And the line in that moment with the little boy is like, this is happening. This is something that happens. I'm like, what are we saying? Like, I don't know. I was just like, did a robot write this? Like, I just don't understand. Maybe I just need to rewatch it, I guess, but it just fully was like,
I think you should rewatch it. I mean, later, because it seems like you're fucking pissed right now.
No, yeah.
But I mean,
sure.
I had, when I first watched it, the intro is so fucking good. And then I had that feeling that you had of like, oh, this isn't going where I was promised from the beginning. But as I wrote it out, I'm like, this was a solid movie, 5 out of 5. And then this rewatch, I was like, this is even better. And that's how I felt with Boogie Nights. Part 8 I've only watched once. But every movie of his that I've seen multiple times, I'm like, this, when I come and revisit it, I get a different perspective. So maybe that'll help. I think with the frog thing, I think it's definitely a reference to like, these people need to let these things go, or, you know, the plague of frogs, because I guess there's like 82 sprinkled in everywhere in the movie, which is Exodus 8:2, you know.
I see. Nice.
So I guess that's sprinkled in there, but I didn't notice it. I was just reading about it and I was like, well, then maybe next time when I watch, I'll look for it. But so yeah, I think that's really what he was going for, was like, hey, you guys need to let go of, you know, your past and all these things, or else this plague of frogs and so on and so forth. So
nice. Thank you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes you feel any better about the frogs.
dude. I mean, I hear what you guys are saying, and it hits me, and I accept it, and it does like value up the movie for me. So like, I hear it, and I'm bitching at it because I think I'm just like there's a disconnect with PTA for me right now. But this is still like a 3.5-star movie for me. It's not like I'm giving this like a 1-star. This is still it's a very good movie. It's just like I don't understand the prestige, you know, like that's where I'm like towing on there. But so it's not like I'm like thinking this is the fucking worst movie I've ever seen. It's definitely not. So
It's so, I want to say fun, just because like this was my feeling, because I was so excited for Kubrick, because you know he's got the prestige, and it just felt like such a letdown.
Right.
Most of his movies. So hey, the tail end's coming, you know.
Yeah, maybe
So
it'll
maybe
pick up here.
Yeah.
It's got to get better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I mean, you've
start
watched Punch Drunk Love before, right? So this will
Yeah.
be your second.
I am.
Oh, nice.
I am curious.
For that.
I'm excited to rewatch it because I think what you're saying about PTA could be pretty valid about rewatchability value.
Yeah.
Where like I'm gonna enjoy them more the second time, because Punch Drunk Love, that actually was one that I think would be on the higher end now that I've watched a few more of his, but I think I might enjoy it a little more even. We'll see, you know.
Yeah.
But well, yeah, I'm excited to rewatch the ones I've seen and then continue with the ones I haven't. So
That was my first, was Punch Drunk Love, and when I watched that was like a game changer for me for PTA, because I was like, this guy means fucking business, and then I went through and watched all his shit. So
nice.
yeah. So maybe the rewatch you'll hit that feeling of like, oh, so maybe there is value in rewatching PTA shit.
Right.
So
Yeah, for sure.
I am super hyped for Punch Drunk Love though. That is like one that like ever since I was introduced to Adam Sandler, I was like, oh, that's boom. So super hyped for that.
Yeah, it's
I feel
pretty
like
cool.
Hit
Well,
PTA, maybe.
I was almost
Matt,
diving
before you
out of the
close this out
limo.
there, you need to let this go, or there will be a plague of frogs. So
Yeah.
just let it go.
Yeah.
Just look outside my window. Split.
I was gonna say it's already snowing like a motherfucker here.
I'm sorry, PTA.
Soon.
I'm sorry. Oh shit.
Stay in the limo, man. Stay in the limo.
Yeah.
God, dude,
I'll stay in,
drive.
but I'm leaning out the window. I'm ready to get to the club, you know.
He's half drunk off the champagne. Yeah, ready to get out.
Yeah, screaming, "This is something that happens." Join us next week, guys, for some Punch Drunk Love talk. Been some interesting chats on PTA. We're gonna keep them going, so like and subscribe if you haven't already, and join us next week for another dive.
But it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop.